Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. We got a very special guest, Matt Bassett. He walked across America to celebrate his sobriety, basically. But before we get to you, man, I want to give a shout out to the NTZ crew. Give a shout out to all my fourth quarter members. You're a fourth quarter member, Matt.
Yes, I
All
am.
my old heads. That's Doubtful Genius. Any new viewers and subscribers joining us today, welcome. And also anybody catching this on replay. I'm thankful, man, that you gave us your time today. Man, I know you're in retirement now. You kicked back over. Where are you?
I'm in a small town. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be here. I've been watching for a long time. I would consider myself a fan and also a fan of the rest of the community. They've been so gracious and kind to me. But I'm in Thailand. I'm in a small town called it's called Peep Mai is how you say it, but it's Phimai. And it's about an hour drive east of Korat and about 5 hours north of Bangkok, Thailand. I'm in a hotel right now. My new place that I'm getting, it will be done on Sunday. So I'll be in on Sunday.
Wow. Man, you got a good connection wherever you are to be in a hotel.
Yeah, that's that infrastructure in Thailand, Calvin.
Yeah, that's good. You know, the peso is 58.35. What's the baht over there right now? Do you know, Matt?
About 30 cents. I don't know exactly, but it's about 30 cents.
Okay. Yeah. Now, why did you choose Bangkok of all places? Have you been there before or something?
Yeah, being a car guy, I was a general manager of a Chevy store for the last 5 years, and before that, 35 years with Nissan. So I've been in the car business for 40 years, and they would send you on trips. You'd win trips, and they'd send the dealer or the executive manager, in my case, on these trips. And I two or three times over the last 40 years were Thailand trips.
Wow.
And I enjoyed the people and the time that I spent in Thailand. But when you go on those trips, you always stay at Four Seasons and Ritz-Carltons, and you go to you don't get to see. Same reason I walked across America is for that exact same reason. All I saw was the inside of fancy hotels. And when I'd go to major cities and major metros. And I don't know if anyone out there agrees with me, but Bangkok's the same thing as LA, which is the same thing as Boston, which is the same thing as Madrid. They're just a big damn city with Starbucks in them. That's all the big cities are. So I came to Thailand after about a year or two before I retired and spent a week here. And then as soon as I retired, I to train for the walk, I moved to Vegas and then came to Thailand. I met the gal online on the Thai Friendly, and came here to meet her, spend a month with her, and then went back to do the walk. And boy, she was with me the whole time. And so when I came back to her town, which is a small town, 10,000 people, and that's why I'm here.
Well, good. HC, thank you for your support. Welcome to the fourth quarter. Really appreciate it. We're going to talk a little bit about your walk, Matt. I'm going to give a little context to the people who may not know about your walk. But he walked 3,609 miles from, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Cape Mears, Oregon?
Yep, Cape Mears.
Yeah, to Hilton Head, South Carolina. Took you started June the 1st and you finished November the 20th. Man, I just want to give you your flowers because somebody out there that's marinating in their head right now. This guy walked 3,600 miles. And they're saying it's unbelievable. I can't believe he did it. I walked 4 days, about a little bit over 100 miles, and it kicked my behind, Matt. But I just wanted to put a name to a face because you're on here all the time. And I
Yeah.
really feel flattered, man, that you said that our live stream kept you company the whole time, or a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whenever it was on, I would tune in, and it you know, it was on during the evenings when I was laying in my tent or in the motel room, whichever it may have been at the time, and so it was good motivation for that time. Kept me busy because there was some long lonely days when you're walking that far. There's some long lonely days.
I can imagine. Okay, let me ask you this: who did the logistics for you, and how difficult was that?
You know, I have a son that lives in Portland, and so my thought was I was going to go from LA to Florida, which is about a 2,600-mile walk. And then I thought, well, if I'm doing this to see the country, because I spent 40 years in an office with 4 walls and a computer. I mean, I just did not see this country. And so my son lives in Portland, so I figured, well, I'd start there. And so, hey, Michael, and so I flew to his house. Let me back up just a little bit. I don't know how much time we have, but
we take your time. We got plenty of time, man. I don't want to hold you up here. You get back to that young woman.
I'm retired. She's at work. So January 1st, 2024, I retired. And after I'm a non-drinker, sober guy. I got sober in 2015, and I had a few goals that I wanted to do. One of those was go to school because I barely graduated from high school, and so I after I got sober, I enrolled in undergraduate at Arizona State University. And ended up getting an undergraduate degree in anthropology and finished that in 2022. And I enjoyed school, so I enrolled in a master's program, got accepted to Johns Hopkins University, and I retired on January 1st, but I didn't graduate until May with the master's degree until May 25th. So I graduated in Baltimore on May 25th and retired on the 1st of January, moved to Vegas, lived there in a high rise, which was awesome. So I could train for 6 months, finished school May 25th, flew to Baltimore to graduate, flew from Baltimore to Portland, Oregon. And then my son gave me a ride to Cape Mears Lighthouse, which is right here. I don't know if you can see that.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I started the walk, at Cape Mears Lighthouse, and June 1st. That's one of the reasons that was my timing. The other reason was weather. I wanted to make sure that I had 40 to 75, 80 degree weather during the whole trip, which I did. Yeah. That's what I wanted.
Why Cape Mears? Why Cape Mears?
Because it was directly west of my son's house in Portland. And so I went to Portland. He gave me a ride to the coast, which was just 90 miles west. And then I started from there, went Tillamook, up over the Tillamook Mountains, and then to his house on my 4th or 5th day of the walk, and stayed at his house for a day and then continued the walk.
Okay, yeah. Roger Walker, what's up? He said, good morning, Cal, Matt, and everyone. Now he's in Thailand right now. I don't know. You're probably north of him, though. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yeah. But again, back to my question: who did those logistics? Because I know when I did my walk in America, I walked from Louisville, Kentucky to Lexington, Kentucky. It was about 80, 85 miles. I couldn't walk on the expressway. I had to walk on state roads and that. Same. And you're going 3,600. Did you do that every day, or did you map out? How'd you map that out?
In advance because I had it completely mapped out before I started and did not follow it. Once after the first 4 days, I didn't follow it a bit because because my plan was to go. I have a son that lives in Salt Lake City, so I walked through Idaho into Utah. I grew up in a small town, Logan, Utah, so I walked through there and met some family there, then down into Salt Lake, and then my plan was to go all the way to southern Utah, but it was 105 degrees, so I thought, screw
Wow.
that. And so I headed directly east and went over through Colorado, up over the 12,000 foot continental divide, pushing a 100-pound cart. That was challenging. That was challenging to push it over there, and then went. But to answer your question, I did it myself, and I did it based on the quality of the roads, the amount of towns that I would go through, and the temperature. I just wanted to make sure I could follow that good temperature. Once I hit Tennessee, because you can only cross the Mississippi on foot, and I wanted to make sure I had a continuous footpath from one coast to the other. So I had to walk across the Mississippi. So I walked in from Tennessee, or from Arkansas over the bridge there into Memphis, and so I could continue that. And then as soon as I hit Memphis, I went directly south because it was getting a little bit cold.
Yeah.
And I went into Mississippi.
One guy asked earlier, what inspired you to make that walk? Because people just don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to walk across America. They might, dream about it. They certainly don't accomplish it.
It's this gosh damn YouTube. I went down a rabbit hole of YouTube, and I saw a guy that did. Actually, there was a young, and my girlfriend's watching this, so I have to be careful. But there was a young, really not attractive at all female that did the Appalachian Trail, and so I started watching her do the Appalachian Trail and watched every day. Her deal on the Appalachian. I thought that was cool. So when you look at a video, it gives you videos that are close to that. And I saw this video of a guy that walked across the United States, and I thought, that's nuts. And then the more I thought about it, the more I watched him on a daily basis, I thought, I think I can do that. I think I can do that. So part of it was that. Part of it was the fact that I was in an office for 40 years. I'd never been camping. I stayed in tents for 6 months walking across this country, and for about half the time I was in motels, but so there was that. And then finally, I have 3 grown sons, and I really just wanted them to be proud of me. Same reason I finished school. I'll never use the school. I'll never use any of the education that I got to make a living, but I just want my sons to be able to say, my alcoholic dad got sober and walked across the United States of America on foot. I want my kids to be proud of me, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah, it blows my mind when I think about it, but I'm sure they were proud of you when you stopped drinking and did that 180. Sure. I'm sure of them. The good thing, when I stopped, Matt, my oldest daughter, she'll be 30 next week. She was 3 years old. So she can't remember ever seeing me drunk. And then my other daughter was 2, and then the other one was in the oven, and then the one was just a twinkle in my eye. So my kids have never seen me like that. But that must have took a lot of money though to walk.
It did.
You guys must have had a lot of expenses, man. Did you have some type of sponsors or something?
And first, I love the channel. I think I calculated it was about 12 million steps, and I retired at 61. I saw a couple of questions there. I've been blessed financially. So a lot of people that do it on the cheap, and they stay in hotel. Not many people do it a year, I'll tell you that. I researched trying to find people that did it. Not many do, but most people do it on a pretty strict budget. I again was blessed financially, and so I stayed in motels. Number 1 was motels. Number 2 was Airbnbs. Number 3 was campgrounds, and number 4 was was out wherever I could find a spot. The hardest part of the walk was finding a place to sleep every night. And many times it was in the middle of a field or in the trees. I got a gun pulled on me once.
Wow.
There was some areas that were pretty shady that I stayed in. Train
Now, how
tracks.
were you taking a shower? What would you do if you had to stay in the middle of the field? Then you had to get up. You got to use the bathroom and all of that. Did you go like the McDonald's or somewhere?
No, Callie, you just dig a hole.
Yeah.
I would shower when I got to motels, but yeah, it would go 4 and 5 days sometimes. And
Oh, wow.
remember, everything, when I retired, I donated every single thing I owned in the world to charity and bought this
Yeah.
cart. And I'm talking my high school yearbooks, everything. So every single thing I own in the world was on that cart you can see in the picture. That's
Wow.
I mean, everything was on that cart. So I only had, 4 pairs of underwear. So for more than 4 days, I was pretty much just freeballing it. Yeah. I did what I had to do, and I'd clean up in rivers and streams, and there was some times that were 4 and 5 through Idaho, Kansas. Kansas is beautiful people, but it's the worst state in the world to walk through, man. That's a long, flat state.
I know. I rode an Amtrak from LA to Chicago, and we went through Kansas, and that's exactly what I said. I said, man, this is just it's nothing but flat land the whole way. But let the people know I've never met you before. I've never seen you. This is the first time.
Yeah.
How did I know that this was going to be such an interesting interview? But I just said, well, let me see this guy. He walked all the way across the United States. I mean, man, we only been on here for 15 minutes, and hell, you already impressed me, man. But
thank you.
This guy wants to know the same thing I've got right here. What kind of shoes did you wear, and how many pairs did you use?
This is another interesting thing, Montel, is I change shoes every 500 miles. I wore Hoka Bondi 8s is what I wore, because I tried about 10 different shoes as I was training. And the Hoka Bondi 8s were the ones that I settled on. And I changed them every 500 miles. Thanks, Beach. I changed them every 500 miles. And so it took me 6 pairs of shoes to walk. Interesting part of that is I did the Hoka Bondi 8s, the first 5 sets of shoes. I never had a blister. I never had a sore foot. In fact, this whole trip, I only took 5 days off of walking in the entire trip. And that was just because I wanted to see cool stuff and go to museums and things like that, because my master's degree was in museum studies. And so on the last, I'm 200 miles from this lighthouse in South Carolina. I don't know if you can see that one. That's in South Carolina.
We can see it. Yeah, we can see that.
Together. So I was 200 miles away, and my shoes were just worn out, because on the outside they looked good, but the soles were almost to my feet. So I changed shoes, and they didn't have the Bondi 8s. I got the Clifton 9 Hokas. I thought, well, they'll be fine. Got my first blister this big around, and I had like 4 blisters the last 200 miles. Didn't get any blisters the whole way, and then had those blisters on the last time. So those shoes are just, they were incredible and really did well. But those bastards at Hoka, I emailed them twice to give me free shoes, and they wouldn't. So
yeah, that's crazy. I was going to ask you, did you document this just in pictures or in video too?
I documented. I've one of my professors wants me to write a book, which is definitely a thought. But I documented everything with daily pictures, thousands of pictures of all the way across America on my Instagram, which is at Oregon2TO, Oregon2TO Carolina. That's my Instagram handle. And I did daily updates with my route And then another set with 10 pictures a day is what I did, going across of just different things and different people across America, all the way from Oregon to South Carolina. There's pictures all the way across. So it's at Oregon to Carolina.
Yeah, he says, Lorraine Ross says, because I was going to ask you about this, the communication between you and your Thai girlfriend. Does she speak good English?
Hell no.
You know?
Yes, Nu, you speak great English, and you're getting better every day because she's watching this. So yes, Nu, you have amazing English. But again, before I started the walk, I knew her. And when I was in Vegas, we would FaceTime every morning, and 6 months of the walk, every single day at 6:30 in the morning, she would FaceTime me and give me my daily motivation for the walk, which would have been her nighttime and my daytime. So my early morning, 6:30 in the morning. And she would call and motivate me, and we would have our special day one day a week that would get me through the week. And it was unbelievable, the support that she gave me across the thing. So what I did when I was here the last time, I bought her a laptop and enrolled her in English lessons from a friend of mine from Salt Lake City, Utah. And she did those English lessons every day and would show me her notes that she was doing her English lessons, and she would get better every day. So today, she speaks much better English than when I met her. But last night we went to her family's house for dinner, which is very remote, out in the village, and Nu is her name, and she's the only one that can speak English. So, but which was fine. I don't care.
Well, I always tell guys when they say that, because it's very arrogant of us to think, well, they've got to learn our language. How well is your Thai? Probably not very well.
Not very good. I think I'm up to 4 words now. And one of the words is boobs. So that doesn't help me much in conversation with her family. So yeah. So I'm learning as I go.
Now, did you S1 Philly vibe? This is a question I've got down here. He says, how was the wildlife? Snakes, moose, deer, rain, bugs. What was that experience like? Because I've got down here, did you run into any type of extreme situation? You said you had the gun pulled on you.
Yeah, all of those Philly vibes, every single one of those were part of it. I think it's kind of like Thailand. When I got here, I see these little geckos on the wall, and it freaked me out. I wanted to get them out of the room. Now I don't even notice them. I just and that's the same way when you're living with the elements, you become immune to those type of things, the bugs. And my first couple of weeks staying in the tent, every time anything moved outside, I knew it was a grizzly bear, and I knew it was going to eat me. But I'd look out and peek, and it was a squirrel, And so you just get used to it. Snakes and coyotes and deer and elk, and there's just a lot of them. Ton of them.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. What do you take on a trip like that? You said you were pushing 100-pound, grocery cart or whatever it was, 100-pound cart. What was in there? Did you have snacks and different things?
Yeah, that's part of the planning is I would know how many days before my next resupply. So if I had a 4-day walk, I knew I had to have at least 4 gallons of water, which is 10 pounds a gallon, 9 point whatever it is per gallon. So I knew I had 40 pounds there. The cart weighs 40, so there's 80. So the rest was clothes and a first aid kit. I started the walk with 3 different kinds of pepper spray because I was worried about dogs, and I started with a big old stick to beat off people and dogs, and within 5 days I got rid of half of what was on the cart. But I had 2 shirts, long sleeve shirts, I wore a long sleeve shirt and a hat to keep off the sun every day, long pants most of the time to keep the bugs and the sun off my legs. But first aid kit that I never used, rain gear that I seldom used, but I had to have, umbrella, anything you'd think you need to walk 3,600 miles. Took a lot of things for blisters and
I
things.
was
Just
wondering, how did you get up every day and do 25 miles? Because man, that's a lot of work. Wasn't your body sore? Because the little 4 days I did, I guess after you do so many days, maybe your body gets acclimated. But when I used to get up, I got up at 4 a.m. every day to do my walk from here to Dumaguete. Man, I'd be sore after walking, 35, 40 kilometers.
When I started, the goal was to walk 15 miles a day and take Sundays off. Well, what I found was there's nothing else to do. I can walk 15 miles in about 6 or 7 hours, which gets you to noon. What are you going to do for the rest of the day? So I just kept walking. And on Sundays, I just walked because there was nothing else to do, because chances are you're not going to be where you want to be in middle of nowhere, Kansas. If you stop at a small motel with cockroaches in it and you stay there for the night, there's nothing to do in that town. It shuts down at 5 o'clock in the evening. And so there's nothing to do. So I would just walk. And through Idaho and Utah, it was in the 100 degrees, and you just can't walk in 100-degree weather or you'll die. And so I would get up at 3 a.m. and I would walk till about 11 or 12 o'clock. And then I would find a place in the shade and I would just chill and listen to books and relax until I set up the tent, or if I was in a motel, I would check in at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And that would.
Did you weigh yourself before and after? Because he wants to know did you lose any significant weight?
I lost about 25 pounds, which I'm not real proud to say I've gained most of back. Because I'm eating. But what happened is I was walking, and I'm not former military, by the way. My father is, and my son is, and his wife is. But I would find that I was walking. I could eat anything I wanted, so I was eating about 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day to keep my weight up and to give me the energy. Because you're right, there are some days you would not know it from looking at my Instagram, but there was many days I got up that I did not feel like walking. It wasn't because I was sore. I just was over it. I was sick of it. You do anything for 12 hours a day every day, and you just get really sick and tired of doing that. So yeah, there was many days that I was tired and weak, but I didn't even take a single Advil. I took them with me, or Tylenol, the entire way, or any stomach medication. It didn't. I felt great the entire way. Blessed, whatever you want to call it. I think it was lucky, but plus I trained hard for a long time. I was walking in Vegas 10 hours or 10 miles a day, every day.
Yeah. I saw where I Love LaChina asked that question, why Vegas? I think because of the heat, right? The conditions.
Yeah, it was January. January through June is when I was training. I needed someplace warm. I needed someplace close to an airport. I need someplace because I don't, car business for 40 years and I don't own a car. And so I needed to have a place that was walkable. And so I picked the Strip in Vegas because I could walk to the airport to go see my children in Salt Lake and in Oregon. And plus it's Vegas, baby. I had a blast. I was on the 37th floor of a high-rise condo building and just had an absolute blast. It was so much fun in Vegas. And the weather was nice. But yeah, I picked Vegas because of weather. And I don't know if you have any California listeners, but I retired. Another question was, I was 61 years old when I retired. I turned 62 on the walk. In the middle of nowhere in Georgia. Um, but where was I? I just lost that thought. Anyway,
Yeah.
Vegas. Yeah, I picked Vegas because of the weather and the ease of travel.
He said, Cal, you going to do another walk? I am. I love to walk. You know, it's just like Matt said, the world slows down when you walk. You see it up close, and it's really beautiful. You know, it's not like being on that bus or in a car, or certainly not on a plane. You start walking, I mean, you see this stuff up close, and absolutely, I'm going to do another walk. I walked here, it was 130 heat index. I mean, it was really, really hot. And he said that the cops ever stopped you.
You know what's funny? A few times, yeah. From Oregon all the way to Oklahoma, I got stopped twice. Once because they said there was a lady pushing a stroller with a baby up the side of a mountain on this mountain road, and so the cop pulled me over to see if I had a baby in my cart. Another time I got pulled over just to see where I was, what I was doing, you know, and then so 2 times all the way to the Oklahoma border. In Oklahoma, I got pulled over 11 times.
Wow.
The first time he stopped to make sure I was okay. And then the second time he stopped to make sure I was okay and give me some water. The third time they gave me some food. Come to find out, once I was halfway through the state, they were all talking to each other saying this idiot is walking across our state. Make sure you take care of him. So the reason they stopped me was just to make sure I was okay. That you cannot imagine watching your channel. You know, when you help other people, you only help yourself. That's not just something that you say. I saw it every single day. Truckers. And if you watch that story, have you got time for a quick story?
Yeah, man. We got plenty of time. Go ahead. It's the most interesting story I've ever had on my live stream. I've ever had on my channel.
Check this out. I don't know. You probably don't know. I don't think they're going to rename Concord Avenue after me. I kind of bailed on them. But in Idaho, there's a small town called Malta, Idaho. 50 miles from that town, I walk 25 miles a day. 50 miles from Malta is a town called Snowville. There is one tree between those two towns, one, and I camped underneath it. It's at the 25-mile mark, and it's off the side of the road. There's one tree, and so there's no farms, there's no towns, there's no roads, there's nothing on this 50-mile stretch. A car would go by about once every 20, 25 minutes. I mean, I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere. So I'm pushing my cart. I got my headphones in. I'm listening to Taylor Swift or some damn buddy. I don't know who I'm listening to, but you listen to all kinds of shit when you're walking every day for 12 hours. So I'm pushing my cart. And for some reason, it was a hot day. It was 100 degrees. So I got up early that day. So it's like 9 or 10 in the morning. I already had 15, 18 miles under my belt, and I'm stopping at 25. So I turn, for some reason, something made me think to turn around. I turn around, and about half mile behind me, I see someone running my way. And I thought they had a hat on and they were running my way. And I thought, well, that's weird. So I just turned around and kept pushing my cart. And when someone's behind you, you got to look every once in a while to see what's going on. So I look like 4 or 5 times, and they're getting closer and closer. And he's obviously carrying someone. I can tell now that it's a man, and he's wearing a hat. And at this point, I'm getting a little bit nervous because there's nothing around. There's nothing. And so the only reason he's either doing what I'm doing, he's running across America, or he's coming for me. So I keep walking. I turn around again, and now he's walking. And I think this is weird, and it's getting weirder. And so I got my mace in my pocket. I'm thinking, I don't know what to do. He keeps walking. He's keeping about 200 yards behind me, so I can't see his features, but I can tell he's walking as I'm walking. So finally, I think I'm in pretty good shape. I think I'm gonna mess this guy up. I don't know what he wants, but he definitely wants me because there's nothing else out here. There's no cars, nothing. He definitely wants me. So I pull off to the side of the road and I just stand there with my arms crossed. He gets closer and closer, and it's this 20-year-old kid, or he looked 20. Come to find out, he was only 16. But he had long curly hair. Pictures on and I wrote a story about it on my Instagram. But he's got long hair and he's carrying a sack. And he's just sweating like you can't believe. He's breathing hard. He says, I says, what do you need? And I'm tough guy. I'm ready to throw down with this guy. I says, what do you need? And he said he couldn't breathe. He said, I thought I was going to have to follow you all the way to Snowville. And I says, what do you need? He said, well, my dad and I saw you walking, and he says, I got this water and some MREs for you. He had some meals ready to eat. They've given to the local charity in Malta, which was 18 miles away. And this poor kid had been chasing me down for at least 5 miles to give me water and food. And I took my picture with him and I handed him back 2 of the things of water. And I'm like, you're going to need these worse than I am, because he had a long trek to get back. But that happened all the way across the country. People were so generous and kind. You can't imagine how many people, many days, I got to my destination with more water than I started with. Truckers would huck bottles of water out their window. Sometimes I was on the same road for 3 or 4 days, so I would get to know the truckers because they were on their route that they do 4 times a day. So they honk and wave and stop, and like my wife made this sandwich. You got to try it. Okay, gave me food, and it was just unbelievable, the kindness and generosity. When you help someone, you have, most of the time, I think, you have no idea what that means to that person. It is just so overwhelming. And it only happened when I was really thirsty and all my water was piss warm. They give me a thing of ice water. It was just life-altering goodness.
But see, when you do stuff like that, see, I had given up on the mankind, humanity.
Me too.
But when you start getting out like that, when I became an insurance agent, the great generation, they restored my faith in humanity. Every day I met somebody great. I mean, that really changed my life every single day, man. But he says, how did you keep your devices charged?
I have this that I carried all the way across, which is just a battery pack. I had 2 of these that would charge the phone 2 or 3 times. And then I had a solar panel to charge my devices that I only used once to make sure it worked when I was in Vegas. Carried it 3,000 miles. I got rid of the cart when I hit the Georgia border. But I carried it 3,000 miles, never used it once. So I donated it to the Goodwill on the border of Georgia when I got rid of everything.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty damn amazing. What kind of tent did you use? Because that probably would have been the thing that would have bothered me the most. You must have had a pretty comfortable tent. Was it nice?
Again, I spared no expense on the equipment because I knew I was going to use it a lot. And so my air mattress and my tent it was an MSR 2-man tunnel tent that I used that was plenty big to get up and move around in a little bit and get my day ready. So that was good. I had this little blow up pillow that I had for about the first 500 miles. And then I went into a store in Idaho, I think it was. It might have been Oregon still. And bought a pillow, a regular, normal pillow that I thought I got rid of some stuff so I could have the pillow because I prioritized that as a big deal because sleep is so important when you're doing a walk like this. And it's sometimes it's tough to sleep with trains. And I had to stay on roads because I had the cart until I hit Georgia. So I had to stay on not highways, but fairly major roads, because you need to have a shoulder to walk on.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is a good question, Heavy Shoulders, because we're about the same age, Matt. I'm 61. How old are you?
62. Just turned 62 in November.
Yeah, I'm turning 62 in May. He says, how important was the music on his walk? Because you said Taylor Swift. You know, we grew up in one of the greatest eras of music, the 70s. So I'm pretty sure you had a lot of Eagles, probably, different
Tons.
things like that, right?
And I had one channel of big hair bands. I had my classic rock. I had alternative music. I had country music, oldies country, Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson and all that kind of stuff. I listened to a lot of music. I listened to a lot of books on tape. I listened to the whole, I think there's 20 of them, Jack Reacher series, such a badass series. I listened to all of that. In fact, I was listening to a Jack Reacher book, and he just got into a fight scene and beat the shit out of 5 people. And so I'm feeling like a badass because I'm listening to this. And I'm on a bike trail. Best place to walk in the world is bike trails, converted railroad tracks. So this biker comes by me and he says, "Get the fuck off the road." And so, of course, I turn around and I flip him off and I yell back at him. He turns around and comes up to me and he says, he's puffing his chest out in his little sissy biker pants. And he says, "You got a problem?" And I said, "Not if there's only one of you." And he turned around and got on his bike and went away. Because I just heard Jack Reacher say that exact same thing. Although he said, "Not if there's only 3 of you." But I'm like, "Not if there's only one of you." He just got on his bike and took off. So that was one of the only 2 mean people I met.
I know you remember Don McLean, the day the music died. You heard that song? Hell
yeah, I did.
It was like he knew something, because I know what he was talking about. He was talking about when that plane crash that killed those people. But what happened to soft rock? What happened to classic rock? That's gone. Nobody's replaced that.
Your parents said the same thing. They said, "What happened to the music they listened to in Happy Days and that old 50s music?" Or 40s music. We do it every generation. I have a really difficult time with today's music. But if you're 10 miles in and you're tired and it's 100 degrees and you listen to Eminem or DMX, it can get you through that next 5 miles. It can get you. So there's reasons for all of it.
We're the same age. We were around when rap was rap. I don't know what this stuff is now. You can't understand it.
I don't know, mumble rap or something. I don't know. I don't listen to much of that, but I listen to a lot of books. And then in about Arkansas, my favorite state, I could live in Arkansas. My favorite state on the entire walk, 12 states, was Arkansas. In Arkansas, I thought I need to find something to do when I retire. And so I started listening 6 hours a day to day trading and investment advice and options trading and those kind of things. So I trained myself for 3 months, I think, listening to that stuff and trying to gain a knowledge of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that kept
you got a book. You got a book in you. You've already. I mean, your professor was probably right that, hey, man, why don't you write a book about that? Nobody's going to read it, though, because, Americans, we don't read. And then you got technology now that reads for you. You said you were listening to books.
Yeah, you can't read a book when you're walking.
Yeah. But he said, did any dogs or animals chase you?
Every day. Every day. I kept dog treats in my pocket after about the first 1,000 miles. I kept dog treats on me, and that was good. I only had one serious altercation where two dogs came after me. One got on one side of me and one on the other side of me. And I had the pepper spray out and I was ready to go. And then a car came up behind me and got in between me and one of the dogs. So then I only had to deal with one dog. They dealt with the other dog. And that's the only time I was worried. I didn't have to spray him, but that's the only time I was worried. And from that point on, I developed a different attitude towards dogs where I would get down at their level and talk softly and be as kind as I could, and never had another problem with dogs. But every single day I got dealt with dogs. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about when the person pulled the gun out on you. Was it because you owned their property, or they tried to rob you?
Alabama. It's because it's Alabama, and I'd never been to the South in my life. And
yeah,
and
that's mega. That's mega country.
Oh, I would see it every day. Two Alabama deals. I'm walking in Alabama, and I go in, and there's a convenience store, gas station out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a guy sees my cart and he starts talking to me, and we have this conversation. Then we go out to his truck and we're having another conversation, and politics get brought up because I tell him where I'm from, California, and he says, "Oh, them California liberals." And I said, "I'm one of those." And so we have this conversation, and he says, "Where are you staying tonight?" And I said, "I'm just going to stay out in the trees somewhere." He says, "Well, you're welcome to stay in my backyard. I live just up the road about a mile." I said, "Okay, thank you. I'll set my tent up there." So I go get to his place. He says, "Oh, there is one thing though. You got to set your tent up right there." It was right under a 12-foot MAGA flag, man. And so he says, "You got to." But this guy, we had completely. I am a California liberal. There's no doubt about it. Which most of your group is probably not. I probably alienated myself. But he invited me into his home. I used his shower. I ate with his family. It was just wonderful. They were such good people, and I found that no one out there cares what the hell your politics are. They care about that in the big cities and on TV and on social media. The people that I met all the way across this great country, none of that matters. None of it matters. The politics were just not part of it. The guy with the gun, however, the guy with the gun, I had walked 25 miles that day. Some days were big, some days were small. 25 is a big day. So I pulled off to the side. It's again in the middle of nowhere in Alabama. There's trees on both sides as far as the eye can see. I go off of the road into the tree line, and I'm about 10, 20 yards into the tree line. Well, someone must have seen me go into the tree line, because I get my tent set up. I'm out eating some of those dried pork rind things in my chair, just chilling. Another thing I splurged on was a decent chair. So I'm just chilling, eating those things and drinking a Gatorade that someone had gave me along the way. And this Chevy truck, I noticed it was a Chevy because I'm a Chevy guy. It comes over barreling through the bar pit. I must have been doing 60 miles an hour on the dirt. Comes up, he pulls up right to the tree line. He gets out of his truck. He's got his gun in his hand, and he said, "You got 5 minutes to get off my property." And I'm thinking, I thought it was government property, because usually within so many yards, it's county property or state property. This guy, this big old dude with this gun. I says, "Well, I ain't gonna be able to break this down in 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes, or I'm gonna shoot your ass. This is Alabama. We don't put up with that here." I says, "Well, they put up with it all the way across this country, and no one's cared. Only you." And he said, so I packed my stuff up. Takes me about 20 minutes, and I went slow just to piss this redneck off, and so I start walking down the road, pushing my cart. Now it's dark outside. Apparently, he lived half mile down the road, and I see him once I get to there. He's got his two dogs and him, and he's standing there with his gun as I walk past his place, whatever. And the dog comes running out at me. I saved his damn dog's life. His dog comes running at me, and a car's coming down the highway this way. So I grab his dog's collar and I hold the dog back. Nice dog, a lab or something. Hold the dog back, and the car goes whizzing by 80 miles an hour. And this guy says, "That dog ain't gonna bite you." I said, "I just saved your dog's life. That car would have took him out." I let him go and then just went down the road and set up in the dark. But that's the only two people that gave me any kind of problem the entire way. Memphis, everyone warned me about Memphis, Tennessee. They're the nicest people in the world.
Yeah, I was stationed in Memphis, right outside Memphis, Millington. Did you walk through Millington or not?
I might have. That sounds very familiar. I went through Memphis and then went straight south into Mississippi.
Oh, okay,
So,
yeah.
maybe not.
No, I don't think. But I thought you was going to say that he let you stay on his land, but he didn't.
No, he was an asshole to the very end.
Wow, that's messed up. Well, what about any inclement weather? Did you run into any, like, because you was coming through Tornado Alley and
mostly the heat. Mostly the heat was through Kansas and Oklahoma and some of those states. It was really hot. A few in the Tillamook Mountains in Oregon. My first 3 days, I thought I was going to quit because everything I had was soaking wet and muddy. It was horrible. And so I just thought, I'm going to make it to my son's house and I'm going to quit. And then I just kept going. If anyone asks you if you can walk across this country, the answer is no. But you can walk to the next telephone pole or to the next mile marker, or that's what I kept doing all the way across this country. I just kept walking to the next one. That's all I kept doing, is walking to the next one.
Well, when you talk about politics, people very seldom bring that up. I hardly ever, like you said, on social media or something like that. But what did this walk do for you, really? I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment, but did it teach you anything about yourself? Because, I just walked for 4 days, man, and it taught me a lot because I wanted to quit. If the guy wouldn't have joined me on the last 2 days, who knows? Yeah. He pushed me. Was there any days you had to push yourself, man?
Oh yeah, my girlfriend got me through many tough days. My sons, I have 3 sons that are just they all do really well, and they're kind, good people. And my oldest would call me every day to make sure that I was safe and that they all had trackers on me in case I didn't move for a while. They would track me and say, "Hey, it looks like you're here. You might want to consider taking this road. There's looks like there's traffic on this area," or whatever. They would guide me through a lot. And then my girl New was tracking me and kind of stalked me the entire way. She'd text me through the app and Line app, and she'd say, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And she'd say, "Well, you haven't moved in 20 minutes. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm having lunch. Is that okay?" "Okay, just be careful. I just want to make sure you're okay." "All right, I'm good." So yeah, they would take care of me the entire way. And as far as learning about myself, sure, it was, I wanted to do something big after my retirement that I could, and a major accomplishment. I thought about hiking Everest. It was too damn cold for me. I got that out of my mind. I thought about the Pacific Crest Trail, the Appalachian Trail, the Continental Divide Trail. But thousands of people do those things. Not many people are dumb enough to walk across the United States. And so I wanted to have a major accomplishment. I learned about perseverance, about, whatever you want to call it, stick-to-itiveness. I learned how much this body can handle. I wasn't much of a Boy Scout. I think I took my kids camping twice when I lived in Utah, and fishing maybe once or twice. But I didn't know the first thing about setting up a camp and camping and the toughest part again was finding some place to sleep at night, because I didn't want to trespass. I didn't want to have any problems with that kind of stuff. But I think I wish there was more of it to that, but it's more about a sense of accomplishment and deciding in your mind. It's just the same thing as school was for me. I just decided one day, I'm going to do this, and I did it, and I'm going to walk across the country. And now next, who knows? I only did a year lease on this place because there will be something next. I'm still thinking of hiking to base camp Everest. I think that would be fun. Hiking to Machu Picchu would be fun.
So do you have any hiking experience? Because that's what Cisco wants to know. You don't.
Just in my, yes, that's not fair. Some, but not any climbing experience. Plenty of hiking experience, 5, 10, 15-mile hikes up in the mountains. Yeah. But no climbing.
What advice would you give somebody? Because really, to be honest, that's a dangerous trek, really.
Very dangerous. There's been
to walk across the country. What advice would you give somebody who was thinking about doing that? I know you've been giving little bits and pieces, but what advice would you give somebody like, man, I saw your trip, Matt, and I want to do that?
Train. Really get your body ready for it, because you'll hate it if your body's not ready. Walk a lot. Train your feet. Train your feet. That's the most important part of a walk of this length. I have a heart condition that I take medication for, and I have to take it every day for the rest of my life. It's an irregular heartbeat thing. I don't even know exactly what it does. But I have a heartbeat that's jacked up. So I take this medication every single day. And my son is like, I don't know if you should do this with that condition, because it's a genetic thing. And I said, so what's the worst thing that could happen? He says, you could have a heart attack and die. And I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can get hit by a car or a bus and die. I says, and what story do you want to tell your kids? You want to tell them that dad died in a rest home laying on his bed shitting his pants? Or you want to tell them that my dad was out walking in the middle of Oklahoma and got hit by a Krispy Kreme truck and splattered all over the road? That's a much better story than laying in bed, shitting your drawers. I was doing something I love, which is being outside and doing a challenge. So that's what I want is something like that. And no, I didn't see a bear. I looked every single day for a bear. I saw that question. Every day I would look for bears, and I didn't see one. I wanted to, man, but I didn't see any. I saw a lot of roadkill, more than you'd want to.
Now, are you on speaking terms with their mother? I'm pretty sure you probably are.
Yes, very good friends. Part of my and I'm the worst at the whole anonymous part of my program. So just so people know,
you don't have to be that.
Part of my recovery was amends, of course, but I that's my kid's mother, and I loved her for many years. I didn't stop loving her just because we couldn't live together. I still love her. I think unbelievably great people. The mothers of my children. Yeah, I'm on great terms with them, and they followed my trek the entire time. I think I started with maybe 50 followers, and I ended up with close, I don't know, 500 to 1,000, just people
Wow.
joining along the way.
Hmm.
And really, they really got invested in my journey, and were a big part of my motivation every day to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
How old is
they
your? Do you mind me asking? How is your Thai girlfriend? If you don't mind me asking.
she's 30.
Okay. Now, can she
Yeah.
appreciate what you did? You know, coming from a different culture, I don't know if they do anything like that.
She can, because she saw it every single day. She
Yeah.
saw the the bad days and the good days and the hotel rooms and the sleeping in the middle of nowhere and making coffee in the morning with my little stove. She saw what I did every single day and was part of it. So she understands it, but I don't think anybody else could ever understand it. There's
Yeah.
no way. No
I mean,
way.
when you first told her, you know what that's what I really mean. Like when you said, "Hey, I'm gonna walk across America." When you first
No,
told her, not
no
she
concept
wasn't
at
impressed.
all. She'd only been to Karat is an hour away. She'd only been there a couple times in her life. I took last time I was
Mhm.
here, I took her to Koh Samet, an island. She'd never been on a boat in her life, and she lives
Wow.
in Thailand. She's never been on a plane. All this advice you give to the, be careful when you get you a province girl. Well, I did just the opposite, and so
Yeah,
far
I
so
mean
good.
that's good. You know, I was just mainly talking about they love hard, and this is where you get the stories of the women cutting your balls off and all that. You know, and
Oh yeah,
you can't. It's hard to communicate. I'm just
yeah.
saying because people, they're all really from the province. Really, they come down to the city to get a job,
Yeah,
but guys
yeah. I
say
mean,
they want a
listen,
province girl without ever coming over here and without
yeah,
ever really knowing what that,
yeah.
what that involves. That's why I
Those,
tell them that because,
yeah,
be careful what you wish for. You
those
might get it.
challenges are there, but there's challenges, in every relationship. There's things that make me crazy about her. We went to the mall in Karate. I didn't know she'd never been there. We went there, and I get frustrated because she doesn't know where anything is. And she doesn't speak
Mhm.
English enough to tell me that she hadn't been there before. And I'm like, "Where's the food court?" She doesn't know, so I got a little bit frustrated. And then she told me she'd never been there, and I felt like an asshole. And so
Mhm.
patience. I'm learning a lot of patience
Oh
being with
yeah,
her.
yeah.
You know, I
That's
I, I
that.
was a
That's
car. I ran a car dealership for the last 40 years. People did what I told them to do. I had 100 people working for me. When I tell you to do something, you do it. You know that, and this is different. I have to be super patient, but
mhm.
it's amazing. It's so far so good. So yeah,
Yeah. I think
it's
that's one of the biggest adjustments. You know, we come from a society like this. Over here, it's slow, it's methodical, and it
yeah,
takes a
exactly.
long time to get used to that if ever. I
Yeah,
mean, they'll count your money 3 times, man, before they give it back to you, and all that kind
yeah,
of stuff. And you're sitting there like, lady, give me my money. I'm ready to get out of here.
yeah, yeah. What do you mean it has a little tear in it? I don't
Oh
want that.
yeah, they won't take it.
No.
Okay, he said, did you stop to eat at Dairy Queen? I'm pretty sure you did. Bob's Big Boy, Waffle House, In and Out Burger.
Whenever I could find them, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My big thing was, and I figured I was walking enough that it wouldn't kill me. Is I McDonald's fan. I would have a quarter pounder, 10-piece nugget, fries, and a large drink every time I could find a McDonald's. And
Yeah.
Waffle House, yeah, all of them. I loved IHOP. I would crave pancakes and carbs a lot. So yeah, I ate at those places where I could, but many times I hate to say this, but it was convenience stores, gas stations, and that gross hot dogs and fried chicken that they have that's disgusting. And I dip it in whatever sauce they had, ketchup, mayonnaise, whatever
Mm.
they had. and the vanilla zingers. I got hooked on the vanilla zingers. I don't know if you remember
Oh man,
zingers,
yeah,
but they's
yeah.
good. I ate those.
Them
I ate
damn
those whenever.
Twinkies. I used to love them damn Twinkies. But
Yep.
they told me that they changed it. Well, they were getting ready to stop selling them, and people had a fit about it. Yeah, and they came back. But Cisco, thanks for that super chat. He said, congratulations on your recovery and your completion of your journey across America and for having great hair still, sir.
I just got my hair cut. Cost me $3.
Yeah. Well, hell, that's a lot. Over here it's 50, it's $1.
Yeah, it was $100 in California to get my hair done.
Wow. 100?
$100.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, she was
for a haircut.
She was very attractive.
Yeah, I was going to say, will you get a massage and a blowjob with that? Hell, for $100?
No. I promise, New. I didn't. I know.
Hey, but thanks so much, Matt, for your time, for your story, and letting us hear it, man. Because you talked about it, you were always in the background, and I said, man, whenever he gets situated, gets rested, I just want him to share that story with us, man. I'm so glad you did. We got a lot in common, man. We're the same age.
Yeah.
We got more than one baby mama. We're going through that. We both drunks. We both like young women, and we're both over here in Southeast Asia. But yeah, thank you, man. And go on back to enjoying your life over there, because we're coming. I'm waiting on my passport now. I got it renewed, and I'm waiting for it. We're going to Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia. I'm gonna do the whole loop. That's my goal for 2025. I'm not standing still.
I'm going to come there and go to one of the meet and greets. It'd be good to meet everybody. I really, that's definitely on my list.
And I'm glad that you said that, because a guy, he contacted me today in my comments. He's got a place in Lapu-Lapu. He said he'd love for us to have that next meet and greet in February there. So we're going to, talk back and forth and get that set up, and I'll let everybody know who wants to come there. But take care, man. I really appreciate it, man. We're just gonna talk about a few things before I get off here, because we got to go to the store. Well, actually, to the pharmacy.
Cool. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate all the motivation. The whole Sunshine Shoulders crew got me through a lot of those days. So I appreciate you all, and I'm sure we'll chat online.
Absolutely. We'll meet in person, man.
For sure.
Okay. Take care, Matt. Man, now that's a story. See, I wanted to get him on here to give him his flowers, because I don't think a lot of y'all understand what that takes. I only walked for 4 days, and man, it like to kill me, man. I don't know how he did that. I don't know how he did that. 25 miles a day. Try that. Try walking 25 miles just one day. Yeah, that's a hell of a book, But see, remember, in America, we got so many distractions. There wasn't even a story. I meant to ask him, if you're still listening, did any news agency, newspaper, local media ever cover your walk, Matt? I would have probably not. Good stories like that we don't pay any attention to. But that was a hell of a feat he did. I mean, and no pun intended. That was a hell of a feat that he did. But I just want to talk about a few little things. I did that video with Derek Q. He's selling his business, and it's up for sale. And people don't understand. I don't have any skins in the game, okay? But the pushback is, oh, he wants 20 million for that. He's only got 30 units. Oh, I can go out and buy 30 units. Okay, yeah. But that's all you're going to have is 30 motorcycles. How people going to know where to find you? You're not gonna have any clients. You don't have you're not listed on Google. Brand means something, guys. Do how much more business do you think if you're selling hamburgers, if you got the golden arches over your building versus whatever brand you got? The time and effort it takes to build up that brand. He's got those connections with the hotels. He's fully booked. You got a up and running business. What do you call it? A turnkey business. That's got to be worth something. But that's the typical Western thinking. Mostly of people who never have any intention of buying the business or starting a business anyway. They just want to be smarter than you. So he said it's negotiable. I don't know how he came up with the 20 million, but you can't put a price on his effort because that's all you're gonna have. So many people's like, man, I could just go out and spend 1,500 or 2,000 on 30 motorcycles brand new. Yeah, that's all you're gonna have. You're not gonna have any clientele. Nobody's gonna be able to find you. If it was that easy, everybody would do it. But he's done all the groundwork for you. Would I buy it for 20 million? Probably not. I would negotiate with him, but remember we were talking about investors the other day when 53 Shades Darker was talking about, it's a different mindset. See, that's what it's going to take. It's not going to take a regular person like me to buy that building. I mean, to buy his business. It's going to be somebody who can see the value in it. But you guys are ridiculous, man. You're not going to buy that business. You just come in the comments just to show how smart you are. It's ridiculous, to be honest. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Yeah, hit the like button. Yeah, it was a very inspiring story. That guy's a great speaker. How did I know it was going to be such a great interview? I didn't know, but I had a feeling. I was like, this guy walked across the country. I said, you got to come on here and talk about that. And he got the personality. He can speak. He probably would have a hell of a YouTube channel if he wanted that. He said, I avoided the media for the most part. I did one. Okay, he did one in Idaho and one in Utah. Yeah, man, because that's a hell of a story. He said, thanks, everyone. It was a pleasure. He said, I think you should swim from St. Carlos to Toledo, man. It's a long, long way. If it takes that damn ferry an hour and a half, Cisco, that shit. That's a lot. That's a big bay right there. Hey, thanks, I love the John. I know you're on the hamster wheel. Yeah, that's a hell of a thing he did, Blizzard Broad. Now, I hope people don't search him out. When I have interesting people on my channel, everybody tries to reach out and interview him, and then they burn him out. They did OG Fred like that. Yeah, he said 5 times the revenue is how he came up with the 20 million, but I would say if I were interested, I would say, hey, well, the business isn't 5 years old. One guy who was on there sounded like he had some business experience. He said usually it's 2 years of revenue, and then you add a little bit on for the brand and all of that. Well, I don't think it equal up to 5, but he said it's negotiable, and he's no joke, man. This man knows a lot of people. For him to be from California, I think, and to come over here, that's why I always ask him, hey, when I want a meet and greet in Lapu Lapu or Cebu, man, he knows a lot of people. It's more than just buying those motorcycles, guys. Don't fool yourself. Don't fool yourself. Okay, you back in the province. I met Sammy one time. I was getting off the ferry in Dumaguete, and we walked right past each other. It wasn't until I think later on he sent me a message on my or something and said, yeah, that was me And I was like, well, why didn't you say something? He said that baseball jersey is awesome, Brother Cal. Hey, thanks, man. You know, Michael Beach Life made a great point. I hope I can fit it. It's nice. Shout out to Sammy Davis. He's the one who hooked me up with the people who made the patches. Guys, them patches is all that, man. I'm telling you now, they're going to be a collector's item one of these days. Certainly a conversation starter. But yeah, that I never asked him. It's the same as Kaz. Kaz had me that basketball jersey that y'all see me wear sometimes. That's specially made. But that jersey is all that. Marilyn really likes it. I know she'll be able to wear hers. But hell, unless he gave me a 5X, I'm not gonna be able to wear that damn thing. You know. He said, I hope I'll be able to make that meet and greet if you're having it. Yeah, I'm gonna have it in February. I'm gonna have it as close to, now. I don't know what his place, you know, everybody's got a big crowd on Valentine's Day, which falls on a Friday this year. So, but if I can get in there on Valentine's Day, if not, I have it that next day on Saturday, the 15th. He says the food is good. He's got a good chef. I like Lapu Lapu. I like Cebu. Hey, thanks, Sammy. Yeah, he said he was too shy. He said even Paul Old Dog like to have an interview on me, but I don't because I don't like. They think I'm getting subs only. Well, you can't let people stop you from living your life, Sammy. Don't do that. Me and W Secrets of Success was talking about that today. He's like, man, you getting in the middle of that uh, Q events. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm not gonna be phony. People know that videos out there with the most silly ass accusations. And here I am. It was just a coincidence, really, that he showed up. But he had already messaged me back in December 22nd or something. And he was like, yeah, them trolls ain't gonna see it that way. I was like, fuck the trolls. They don't run my life, man. They give a shit about no trolls. You know, you can't let them people. If I was gonna let the trolls control me, I'd been gone. I don't even if people didn't send me that stuff, I wouldn't even know it was there. And they're dropping like flies. You know. He said, Sammy, if Paul wants to interview you, I would encourage you to do it. It's good exposure. You're not new. You can handle the bashers. Yeah, that's true. Uh, I watch a lot of channels. I just don't comment because I don't want people doing drive-bys on me, coming up underneath me. Oh, you know, this and that. That's the reason I don't comment. But I watch. I watch people's channels all the time. But I just don't, I just don't comment. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get that place. He said he offered it to us, so I'm gonna go by there and see, what it looks like. Because whenever I have it in Cebu or Lapu Lapu, a lot of people show up, and like I told him, we'll help each other. You let me have the place and help. We're gonna bring you the business. That Edelberg or whatever it was, that man and his Filipino wife, they knew I was the reason all those people was there. He never even acknowledged I was there. I was like, well, okay, dude. We sold that place out both times. The tips was ridiculous because I gave them 2,000 out of my own pocket. But everybody gave tips. But hell, he never even said, hey, thanks, man. All the food, all the drinks, and all that. That's the reason we do it. I got that from the people in Dumagetti. That's what they do. They don't rent the place. They're like, okay, let us have this place for the meet and greet, and 120 people are going to show up and give you the best day of the year. Basically, what it is. It's their Christmas. He said, just go on there and make a fool of yourself. Then it would generate some buzz. Yeah. Talk about your love life. Expose some of these men coming over here. He said, no, he said, I don't like that they'll spank my butt. Yeah. Tell them some of these guys coming over here. Because I was shocked. One of my subscribers who came to my house. He's a doctor, a real doctor. Not just a PhD, he's an actual doctor. He rented a room from one of my other subscribers. And he said he bought a lady boy with him. And I was like, I don't really care, but the way he was talking in my house is like he was with women. Come and find out it was a lady boy. He's like, yeah, he said it was 100% lady boy. I said, are you sure? I said, I met him. We went out to lunch and everything. He said, no. He said, that's a lady boy we had. He said, yeah, most of my foreigners, friends, were, oh, you were their girlfriend? They love slapping my butt. That's funny, Sammy. He said, Corey Feldman hasn't been in the chat for a long time. We miss him. He said, happy Black Nazarene Day in the Philippines. Yeah, that is, man, if you up there in Manila, you better be careful because that's a big crowd. And usually every year somebody dies in that they get trampled. There's millions of people that got the Black Jesus and they just want to touch they just want to touch it. And in their enthusiasm to touch, I mean, it's millions of people. If you think I'm playing, every year somebody gets trampled. It's almost like, I don't know if it's as many people as that be at the Mecca, but just think of the Mecca and you know how they walking around like that. Just keep that in your mind when you think about the people following this Black Jesus. They surround it and they just want to touch it, man. Somebody dies every year. And then, of course, the Sinulog is going to be the same way. If you don't like people, man, don't get mixed up in that crowd. Yeah, it's a big story. Yeah, that's why they said, yeah. Because I said, well, why is he Black? And they tell the story that they say that the statue got burned in the ship coming over here. Everybody else perished. The only thing that survived was the statue of the baby Jesus. But whatever it is, it has a lot of significance to it. And that's when you will know that culture matters. People, women are the same everywhere. Bullshit. Okay, when you get over here, you're going to see, it's the same as it is in America, okay? You'll see it on TV. Tonight, Philippine time, in the morning in America or the West, where somebody can get trampled, 4 or 5 people, every single year. Just touching. They just want to touch the remnant. Because I think it's got like if I'm not mistaken, it's got like some type of cloak on. They just want to touch that. Okay, Sammy, take care. He said, I remember. I wonder why he bailed. Yeah. Well, they're all falling off. Those channels don't last. Those people don't last. They can't match my energy anyway. I'm going to be here. They're not going to run me away. They tried. And that's why I wanted to show my support for Derek, because that's what they're going to do to him. They already hating on him. Now the man who put that video out is just giving them more ammunition. Everybody can see he's disgruntled. It's a shame, man. And people like that, I said, you need to nip that in the bud. Or Maryland had the right advice. She said, look, go to the barangay. I bet he'll stop making them videos, and they will. They respect authority over here. If the barangay went to him and said, look, dude, you better quit making them videos, about him or whatever. He'll stop, okay? But I took that personal, man, because it was done to me, man. It's when something like that, you can't defend yourself. And everybody wants to believe the negative stuff about you. And he's done a lot of good. You can't deny that. He said, did something technical happen? He said, last week I could have sworn you hit 66, not 65. No, it was 64. I had 64. I ain't gonna lie, I can't remember either. Now you got me thinking. But YouTube is gonna do what they do, Kamal. YouTube's in charge of that. They could put me in front of 10 million people and I could get up to 100,000 today. But they want to say, oh, it's the algorithm. That's why it's important that you hit the like. That you hit the like button, man. It's very important, man. Instead of you just sitting here watching the video, just hit the damn like. Hey, thanks, Diego Maximilian, for that super sticker. He said, come on, I thought I saw the same thing. Man, y'all could be right. Y'all got me wondering now. Because when I'm thinking in my mind, was I at 64 last week? I don't believe I was. But YouTube's gonna do what it's gonna do. Yeah. I don't know now. I'm gonna have to. It's too late now. But I know everybody's watching these football games that Notre Dame and Penn State, and then what's the other one? Ohio State. Who does Ohio State play? I don't forget who the fourth team is. He said, he said, keep them boots on the ground. Oh, absolutely. We'll have our first meet and greet in a few months, man. It's all coming together. You put it out there in the universe. I asked Derek Q and then somebody watching it who has a bar, a restaurant in Lapu Lapu. He said, man, I've been following you for 4 years. He said, you're the reason I'm in the Philippines. He said, I'd be, flattered to have you have your meet and greet in my place. No, I'm saying, what's the other one? It's Notre Dame fighting Irish. They're playing Penn State. Then it's Ohio State. Who's the other one, man? I done lost my damn mind. It's only 4. Oh, wow, 24-24. Somebody said that today. One of them talking heads. They said it's going to be a close game, probably 24-20. Yeah, Texas. Okay. Which I don't believe they're going to do anything. Either Ohio State or the winner of that Penn State, Notre Dame. It's a toss-up between Notre Dame and Penn State. They both start playing good late. So did Ohio State. Texas is kind of, man, they got help last week. That's the only reason they're still in it. That was a targeting call that they let slip. Okay, they didn't want Arizona State in there. They wanted Texas in there. It's about money, guys. Don't put it past them. But yeah, you could be right, Kamal. 8,000 miles away. Say, did you hear about the fires in California? Los Angeles, very sad. I did. But usually it's on, out, in California, where the forest and all that. I never heard of it being so close to LA like that. That's crazy. But yeah, I heard about that. What are they going to do? He said, multitasking on the hamster wheel. I'm doing paperwork, watching Calvin live, and watching football. 107 left. Who's got the ball? I love the chime. He said, "Far where are you from, Cisco? I know you live somewhere in San Francisco right now, but where are you? Where are you normally from?" Believe it or not, man, all the years I was in the United States, I only went out to. I've only been to LA one time. That was like I want to say 2002. Yeah, early 2002. Okay, Notre Dame driving. That should be it'd be like uh vengeance for this guy, the coach there. Because remember they lost their first game to some rinky dink team, a Division II team or something, and they were calling for his head. And hell, they don't won every game since. So I'd like to, maybe see him win to make up for that. Because they wanted his head. Now they signed him to all that money. Okay, he's in Central California, but from LA originally. Oh, okay. Yeah, I went to LA, man. I tell you, I was hanging with, I guess you would call them Mexican Americans. I wouldn't be saying that. I wouldn't be, um, I wouldn't be hurting anybody's feelings by calling people that. They do call themselves Mexican Americans, right? Mexicans born in America. And man, they showed me a hell of a time. Man, you talking about street food, those damn food trucks, man. I was only there for 2 weeks. I was working, man. Food was delicious. It's just too many people though in LA for me. I couldn't see across all the lanes of the damn traffic. And then we went up to Martinez, California, and I was there for a month. We were working on one of them. I think it was Shell. It was one of them um, oil refineries. He said Monday Night Football has been officially moved to Arizona, according to state. What's that all about? Monday Night Football. You mean the Super Bowl? Because we were in Martinez, we took a trip to San Francisco, come across that Golden Gate Bridge, but it's another bridge. Not just the Golden Gate, they got another bridge. Because sometimes you think, well, I'm going across the Golden Gate Bridge, and they say, no, it says a Golden Gate Bridge. It's another bridge. Oh, okay, the Vikings versus LA in the playoffs. Okay. Oh, because of the fire. Okay, I get it. Okay, Penn State has it with 40 seconds. Yeah, the Bay Bridge. That's what I thought. There's another bridge, Laura, not the Golden Gate, because I thought, I'm getting ready to take pictures and stuff. I'm from Kentucky. I'm thinking I'm going across the Golden Gate Bridge. The dude said, dude, this isn't the Golden Gate Bridge. It's so you can see it from the other bridge. But see, when I was going through my divorce, okay, because I was talking to Laura about this before, I went down to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, where you can see Alcatraz. And I had my picture, they got the Skechers down there. And I ate at this nice seafood restaurant. Well, the picture, man, it was a memento for me. That was one of the damn things that my ex-wife, she tore it up, man. And then when I went to Cancun, I had one of those clay, Masons made of me. She threw that damn thing in the fireplace. Threw away a $10,000 collection of antique books, self-help books I bought. Then had the nerve to ask the judge for more money. They cut it in half. But yeah, I went to Chinatown. We went down, It's the first time, man, that San Francisco got a hell of a downtown. It's just that it's just too many people. It's too expensive. I'm not trying to work to live anymore, man. Just to live, just to make it. I'm through with that chapter in my life, man. I'm in a new chapter now. I want to see a little bit of my damn money. He said a lot of the properties are uninsured for fire damage. They could not get insurance. See, that's the same thing where I'm from. There's no flood insurance, or if it is, I don't know how good it's going to be. Diego Maximilian, thank you for your support. Welcome to the fourth quarter. I really appreciate that. I saw Homeland Security at the airport. So what are they saying now? Are they trying to say that it's a terrorist attack? He said areas here, people have been dropped from insurances. Yeah. But we don't push back, Laura. When your representatives, your state representative, city council, and all that, when they're in the pocket of corporations, like who's going to help us? We elect you to help us, man. You're supposed to speak for us. It's too much going on over there, man. That system is broke, and they don't want to fix it. Remember a couple of days ago, I was talking about nobody over there ever wants to admit when they're wrong. He said COVID really decimated downtown San Francisco and too many smash and grabs at department stores. You know, when you go to the Magnificent Mile, it kind of brings me into, you know, that's extravagant though. But it kind of brought me, that kind of came to my mind when I went to downtown San Francisco. But Golden Gate, this was early 2002. Actually, it was like, I was there Christmas 2001 over into the new year of 2002. So that was a long time ago, but it was really nice. 8,000 miles away says, oh, I meant to mention, I thought your video comparing your Filipino wife divorce and your American wife divorce was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you. See, that's what I was talking about. When people say culture differences are overrated, it's not true, man. It wasn't true. My divorce from my Filipino wife is amicable versus my divorce with my American wife. It was a knockdown, drag out fight. She wanted everything. She didn't want me to have anything. And if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have had nothing, lady. She wanted to take it all from me. And I couldn't understand it. You can't afford to maintain this stuff. That new convertible that she had that man driving, she did that on purpose. That was I had a $625 car note back in 2011. Well, no, we bought the car in 2009. You can't afford that. But she didn't want me to have it. And then somebody told her that during the divorce, she could keep the house and I was still gonna have to pay the mortgage. I was like, well, who told you that? They always talking to these street lawyers. No, either I'm gonna buy you out or you're gonna buy me out. But ain't no you standing here. She had a full-grown man standing in that house, man. Okay. And was taking care of him on my money and the money she was getting from the daycare. Sorry. I mean, it was a long time before I found that out. It was like, let me see. I left in December 2011. I found out he was living there in July of 2012. And that was the last mortgage payment I made. And I found that clown was living in there. But yeah, no, that's a big difference. Yeah, I was married 18 years, a long time, Laura. That's a successful marriage. If you do anything else for 18 years, they'll say, you know, it was a success. Now, the last 2 years we weren't together, we were separated. But those 16 years, we were grinding together. But once I stopped drinking and getting high, she took that personal, like I didn't need her anymore. It's not true. That's just the way she was thinking. It is huge. It's real huge. But y'all think we just be on here yapping when you talk about why these relationships don't work. Don't be surprised when they break up, man. Be surprised when they stay together. You're going to be doing some stuff that she's going to find strange. Okay? And she's going to be doing some stuff that you're going to be like, oh, I don't know if I can deal with this. You know, it is. It's just like night and day. You got to work through that. You got to work through that. Man, they made all the difference in the world. He said, I bet him living there pissed you off. What are you talking about, man? I snapped, and a friend of mine seen it. He said, Cal, you need to get out of here, man. I see it in your eyes. You get ready to do something crazy. And I was. You know, okay, we had 3 cars, man. We were living good. We had the brand new convertible. We had my PT Cruiser that I used to drive around to see my clients. And then we had the van for the daycare. Well, I'm out on, seeing my clients. I'm walking out the door. Here he comes down the street in my convertible with the top down, playing the music, man. You talking about the first time I saw that, I was a madman. And then my kids started telling me stuff. Yeah, Daddy, he's sitting there with his feet propped up on the table in the living room. And I said, my daddy paid for that. They're giving me all the stories. They hyping me up. And I know it's true because I know their mom was crazy about me because she was crazy about me. She'll do anything to please her man. So she's going to take care. He don't have to work. Okay. Crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. He said, I bet him. You damn right. Pissed me off. And I never, my kids never saw me drunk. He's drunk in my house. He got a gun. But may he rest in peace because all that was worked out in the end. Time will heal a lot of that stuff. Believe it or not, when I brought my Filipino wife to America and she first started working, she had a temporary job. They were working together. Okay? Sometimes I would give him a ride home. This is a true story. Oh, man. Now, who's winning? Yeah, I gave him a ride home. Okay, but she did all that stuff, man, she almost succeeded with that. If that man, he saw it in me, he said, Cal, you got to get out of here. And I started coming to the Philippines. It's like, I went to Mexico first. But Blizzard Brown said something yesterday. Cisco says, I love Asian culture precisely because it's so different. That's why I wanted it. I don't like certain places that's going to remind me of the West. Okay, you heard Matt. He's in Thailand. He said the reason he's 5 hours north of Bangkok, he said Bangkok is LA. It's Chicago. It's New York. But Blizzard Abroad said something that was profound. He said, what a lot of these guys complain about, it doesn't even bother me. So when you see all these videos about how bad the Philippines is, and you get these men whining and complaining, I'm like, what are you whining and complaining about? I don't even notice that stuff anymore. He said, yeah, Kamal, they think these fires seem suspicious, maybe started on purpose. Is that why the Homeland Security's there? Pretty soon, y'all gonna have to get permission to go outside. Who's winning? Oh, Notre Dame. Well, good. I knew it was going to be a toss-up, but I'd rather see him win because this is the first time that two black coaches have played each other, in the college football playoff, and probably the last, if they have anything to do with it. Hey, Confident Voice Speaks. He said, thanks for that super chat. He said, what's up, brother? So I just got back from the beach. Congrats, Matt, on the completion of your walk. I couldn't do it. Y'all think this kind of stuff is easy, man. We take it for granted. That's why I wanted him to come on here, man, and say it out of his own mouth. I wanted y'all to see that he was a real person. Man, I don't know if you can do anything tougher than that. That's a long walk, man. My walk from San Carlos to Dumaguete took everything that I had. So imagine he walked from June the 1st to November the 20th. How crazy is that? Every single day, really. He said he took 5 days off to see interesting places. Man, y'all don't know, man, how tough it is to do that, but this is what we're capable of. We're capable of a whole lot more than what we give ourselves credit for. We shortchange ourselves. He says we can't go all in with any woman. Take it easy and don't be cheesy. This is good information right here. But it's hard. It's easier said than done, Diego. Remember, these yummy sixes have a power over us. And, everybody said, it's easy to say what you're not going to do when you're 8,000 miles away. But it really is tough. We were kind of talking about that yesterday with Derek about his business partner with him. He's got a YouTube channel. And, they bought a couple of boats. They're going to be doing island hopping and stuff, He's telling the truth, man. He's just always starting businesses and stuff. He said, I would have to watch the rerun, missed all of it. It was a great interview, man. This guy's really interesting. But I knew he was going to be interesting. He said, I felt accomplished driving across the country. Yeah. But when you walk, man, the world slows down. I did it before when I walked from Louisville, Kentucky to Lexington, Kentucky. Because I used to do it all the time in my car because Lexington was my territory as an insurance agent. But it looks so different when you're walking and you can actually see the houses. And when you go from Louisville to Lexington, see, it's a big horse money there. You got a lot of Saudi Arabians living there. I mean, it's rich. You got castles, man, in between there. And I was able to see them up close. It's the same thing. Yeah, this is what the problem that I have with everybody making such a big deal about Deion last year. It's like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. You got Franklin at Penn State. You got this guy at Notre Dame and everything like that. And they acting like Deion was the first black coach. And that's why I couldn't get it. It was a media circus. And I don't trust the media over there. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But you'd have thought Deion was the only coach. And, it's three things you, as black people, we better be monolithic about it. They coming for your ass. Deion Sanders, Jesus, and the Democratic Party. If you speak out against any of them three as a black man, they coming for you. It used to be Obama, but we figured his eloquent ass out. He's phony. But it used to be, you better not say anything about Obama. All them women is coming for you. And now they done figured his ass out. He said, yeah, that was a great story by Matt and inspired me to never give up. Thank you. And just to do something, man, push yourself. We've gotten so lazy, man. That's our biggest problem. We're lazy. And, you can lie to yourself When's the last time you pushed yourself doing something that you really didn't want to do? You're like, man, I need, because you can stop at any time. He could have stopped any time along that road. Nobody would even notice. Got in his car and went to the airport and flew back home. But he pushed himself. He said, you see so many things while walking. Yeah, and flying. Because we move so fast. If you want to see the Philippines up close, and it's going to be going by fast, but up close, get on one of them boats, get on a bus. Get on a bus, and you're going to see it. You can't see it flying into Mactan. You only think you've seen the Philippines when you're in your neighborhood, close by your condominium unit. You see the squatters area and all that. Man, get on a bus. Yeah, it's nothing new. I don't know, but you can't even now. It's like they life is somehow mixed in with Deion. If you say something about Deion Sanders, you better be a Colorado fan. I'm like, man, y'all crazy. He said, I've only been married once. And basically, the exact thing happened to me. I had to start over. And in the end, she wanted me back. No way. That's one of the reasons I gave my ex-American wife everything. Because I knew I could start over. Now, after all of these years, maybe she'll give me some credit for that. But the reason I did it, another reason I did it, because, okay, I know you can't maintain all this stuff. You're going to lose it. And she lost everything. But she didn't want to work. There was no reasoning with her. She said it out of her own mouth. I'm going to make the white man destroy you. Talking about downtown, the courts. I remember, okay, because we went through our divorce and separation for almost 2 years. And I remember coming back home from the Philippines one time, and I called her up. And I said, that land that I bought down in Alabama, I'm just going to sign it over to the kids. Okay? We're not going to fight about this in court. And she's, okay, yeah, okay. So then I finally get my divorce decree. And I'll be damned if she didn't take the land from me, told the people that land, she inherited that land. Crazy, man. But she, the whole time I'm talking to her, yeah, thank you, it's a good thing. Not realizing that I'm going to get the divorce decree. Yeah, the media was hands off. But man, if you as a black man, you couldn't say anything bad about Obama. I mean, and I'm like, well, why is your life so tangled up with his? He doesn't know you. He doesn't care about you. He hasn't done a damn thing for you. He said walking is very underrated. It is. I love to walk. The only reason I'm not walking now, today, because it's pouring down rain today. And it hasn't stopped. I was worried that the internet was going to be spotty because it's been raining all day. But it is. It's very underrated. I love to walk, man. That's where I get all of my ideas from. Most of my ideas, that's my way of meditating. He said, I spent a lot of miles on the Victory Liner, Aircon bus in the 80s. They got some Aircon buses now, but the series, most time I'll catch any of those buses. I'm in such a hurry. Even imagine they got 9 Aircon buses over here. There's no air conditioning on them. I don't think you could do that in America, can you? I mean, school buses, but they really have aircon. I don't know if the driver ever cuts them on, but they got buses over here There's no aircon. You gotta let the window down. It's some old windows where you squeeze the thing and let it up, squeeze it, let it down. And it gets hot over here, man. And sometimes you can't sit by the window because the sun is right there. It's just too hot. He says, I do a lot of walking. I did one hiking video here. But I realized that's time I need to myself. Man, I'm going to tell you something. I was talking to the guy yesterday who's with Derek Q because he was talking about what he was into. And I said, yeah, you know, when you build your YouTube channel, in the beginning, you got to stay in that box. And I know it's cringy. You got to talk about relationships, cost of living, what else? Crime or safety or whatever it is. And then some, tourist places. I said, but once people start listening to you and you got your base of supporters, now you can start talking about stuff that really interests you. And they'll listen. But it's hard to break through in the Philippines because they only want to talk about the women here. You got to talk about the women. I don't care. Either am I going to take care of her family? It's always something surrounding the women. Those are the ones that get the clicks. And, you know, it's YouTube. It's entertainment. People want to be entertained for real. And to them, that's the entertainment. But you better have a woman somewhere in your conversation. Oh, they don't want to hear it, man. The armchair bros, they want to see a woman. They want to hear about a woman. They want to hear about sex. They want to hear about the tune-up with the free oil change and lube job. See, they shut me down for real. The hate that they did calm me down because, man, I could be out there now, which I'm going to start doing on my Patreon. Now, if you want to hate on me, you got to join my Patreon. But I've got some stories, man. But if I told them, if I really gave you, man, look, it's a lot nittier and a lot grittier over here than what I'm giving you the nitty gritty, not the nittier grittier. I'm not giving you that. I can't do that. They would deport me. Okay? I'm just being honest with you. So we know that, what line to cross. We know how far to go. I mean, you just gotta, stay with us, and say, okay, I know where you're going with that. But yeah, it's a lot needier, a lot grittier over here. Okay. You only getting a certain amount when you watching on YouTube. It's when you get over here, you're like, I didn't know it was like this. Yeah, it's like that. He said, I like walking in the cool heat of the night in the Philippines. Look, from about 5:30 all the way to about 7 in the morning, it's the perfect weather over here. It's the perfect weather. And you can walk because there's a Philippines at night. Believe it or not, some of these cities over here, they never close. There's people walking around and you got vendors open, and because, man, depending on when you're over here, what time of the year, it's so hot. Nobody's outside. I mean, it's super hot. Okay. He said, I just got done doing my walk around, laps in the swimming pool with my surgeries. The pool does me just fine for a little exercise. Every other day walking, laps in the swimming pool. Well, they suggest that you do that. Football players do that when they have those knee injuries and stuff like that. Any type of exercises, man. But we don't even exercise at all. I asked Derek Q and the guy he was with yesterday. These are young guys, man. Derek Q is 46. I didn't ask his friend how old he was, but I said, do y'all do any exercise at all? They don't exercise at all. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry, man. You watching this, You got to exercise some type of way. You can't, that's unacceptable, man. You're not going to last. You're going to age old, man. You're not going to age well. Yeah, he said it. Yeah, it's hot over here. No, it don't feel too wet. It's perfect. The weather's perfect over here from about 5 5:30 all the way to about 7 in the morning. But see, depending on where you are, see, we're close to the water here in St. Carlos. So if I go to Center Mall, if you look at that video I made with Derek Q, you can hear the breeze. It's a breeze right there. We could have just, which is what we did. We stood there for about an hour and a half just talking. But the weather's getting ready to be perfect here now, between now and the end of January to like the early March. It starts getting cool for some reason. I don't know what they call it, but every year it's the same. Yeah, the nitty gritty. Here comes security. Yeah. Now they don't want you you put it all out there, Laura. And sometimes it's not my place to do. I don't think it's my place to do that. I wouldn't do it anyway, but there is some things I could talk about, but I just pull the reins back. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna go there because sometimes, people are just looking for something to get you in trouble or to bring drama your way. Oh, Cisco International. Dennis Green was his father? Oh, no, Wayne Nunnally. Okay. Yeah, you pay extra, but guess what? It's not that much. It's not that much. Okay, on the ferry, the light ferry over here, it's 25 peso difference. But some people can't afford the 25 pesos from the regular to the aircon. They can't afford it. So you pay the extra 25 and you in there. It's crazy, right? But it's true. And you see a lot of stuff like that. What's up, King B? He said, landing at that Manila airport, the smell in the air, the long flowing black hair, creamy skin. Yeah, you're going to get that smell. It smells sort of like, have you ever walked into a DAV um, what's the other one? What's that other one? Goodwill. That's what it smells like. But after a while, when you start coming back, you be like, yeah, you want to smell that smell. You know what's coming. He said, Cal, I'm going to transform my body in 2025, getting in great shape. That's what I told Merle. I'm going all the way. Because, see, I stop sometimes, man. And, you pull it back. But I want to keep going this time. But I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes, because if you've ever been on my house, I live in the middle of a field. And when it rains like this, man, it gets muddy. I don't even want to go outside. I mean, because good thing I got those Merle shoes. They're really waterproof, but they're not mud proof. I mean, you be walking all along, then next thing you know, your foot goes down 12 inches in the damn ground. And then you lift it up and you got mud from your calf all the way down to the end of the toe. I did that yesterday. I know our helper's getting mad because she got to wash my shoes just about every day. She's probably like, I just washed these damn shoes. But Merle, okay, we're coming in yesterday from, talking and eating lunch with Derek Q now. And it's been raining. Well, it's a damn tricycle turned sideways, blocking half the road. So Merle tries to go around, she slides. So I have to get off. And I'll be damned. I'm like, okay, I know how to do it. So I go around, I'm thinking I'm walking in grass. The minute I step foot in there, boom, my foot goes down about 8 inches. a cake with mud. He said, Philippines is too hot. He said, I'll stay here. He said, preach, Cal. No, I can handle it, man. I've gotten used to it. I'm going from point A to point B, Leroy. I'm not playing around. And you'll see that. You'll see, okay, people won't be, they don't mess around, man. You know, there's a guy, Robert White, he stayed in my guest house twice. He's the guy who had, I think he's got 15 children and 10 baby mamas. Well, anyway, he was like, Cal, you know, men don't understand one of the reasons why it's hard to meet a Filipino woman on the street because he's not afraid to approach them. He said they're either coming or going somewhere. They're not just standing around. What you know, you try to approach a woman, she's like, I'm just getting off work. I need to go home, or I'm on my way. I'm rushing to work. Yeah, and just you know, not just the X-rated nitty gritty, that too, but it's just some more stuff that you can talk about. You know, the nuts and bolts. But you just say, okay, I'll just leave that for you when you get over here. You know, because just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean it's not happening, though. And this is what people don't understand. So I said, okay, you come over. I'm just going to give you the nitty gritty. But I can't give you the nitty or gritty. He said, like you forgot to take the clothes out of the washer. Yeah, that's that smell. He said, very little difference in price. Yeah, it is worth it. He said, what are the bubble places you have mentioned? IT Park in Cebu, Cebu Business Park, uh, Mactan Newtown in Lapu-Lapu, BGC in Manila. There's another place in Manila, Mega World in Bacala and Iloilo City. They got Festive Walk in Iloilo. Just those places where you can rent, where everything's just right there. You could just stay there. You don't have to go anywhere else. The grocery store, the malls, everything, the movie theaters, the restaurant, the pharmacies, everything's there. That's I just call them bubble cities. I mean, they're really nice. That IT Park, man, it's so nice to me. And all these years, me and Merlin, we would rent an Airbnb there, but we would leave. These last couple of times we went there, we slowed down. It's like, so I looking around like, man, it's more here than I thought. I mean, real good restaurant. They got a Yala Mall there. I mean, a real mall. Right there. Everything's there. The shade, the transportation hub is there. Same as in Moncton, Newtown. They got the transportation hub right next to it. That's the bubble cities. That's where, if I'm new, that's where I'm going. First of all, to get, used to being in the Philippines. And then I can branch out and see what I need to see, but I'm not coming straight over here and going to the province where the toilet doesn't have a seat on it. And you gotta, flush it with a bucket of water. So you gotta sit there and look at last night's dinner. I'm not trying to do all that when I first come over here. Now that I've been over here on and off for over 15 years, it's nothing to me. There's no place in the Philippines that I couldn't stay all night. You don't want to come over here, Diego, and hear them cuckoo, cuckoo, them big ass. You don't want them crawling around your walls. Those little bitty geckos, yeah, but the big ones, you don't want to go straight into that. But yeah, those bubble cities, man, that's where it's at. Everything that you're used to at home, that you'll have it there. Hot and cold shower, aircon, a real bed, and you're close to everything. IT Park, you right across. If you like the casino, you're right across from the Waterfront Hotel, which, by the way, houses the U.S. consulate. So if you can't make it to Manila and you need your passport, they even do CRBA there now. Yeah, it is. It is. It does um, have a scent. It has a scent. Yeah, because he was in the game back then, King B. That's part of the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. He was rolling. He said, I just made the Angeles City. Don't you got a computer for sale, Kaz, you was telling me about? It might be somebody out here who wants to buy it. Because I'm not into the IT and all that. I wouldn't know a good deal on a computer or what a good computer looks like. But this is the community. He said, I'm going to miss that meet and greet in February, man. I wish you was here. Guy reached out to me. I'm going to take his offer up because he said that he got a nice chef there. I believe him. He offered his place. He said, yeah, you're the reason I'm here. He said, where and when is the next meet and greet? It's going to be in February. It's close around Valentine's Day as I can get it, King B. It's going to be in Lapu-Lapu. The guy's going to contact me today. He's got a place already. He's the owner. He said it's a nice place. He's got motorcycles to rent if anybody needs that. He says he's got a great chef. He said your subscribers will love the food. He said, okay. Well, we'll give it a try. He said, talk about the rising up from the mud. You talking about when I stuck my foot down in there, that mud, the struggle. Yeah, he said, no running water, mosquitoes for days, videoke noise. He said, help all that. Yeah, you got to get, this levels to this Philippines, man. You can't just come over here. You see my buddy Sperlin Edwards. He was living in Iloilo for 2 years, going back and forth to his wife's province until they decided to move to the province. Man, you can't do that overnight, man. I mean, you can. I wouldn't know, man, you would be miserable. Some of these places in these provinces, man, the mosquitoes will literally eat you alive. You got to sleep under a mosquito net. I mean, I'm talking about, guys, y'all never experienced anything like that. I was in northern Cebu, a beautiful place, man, but at night, you better be in that mosquito net. I'm talking about it's just so many, man. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And when they open that little thing for you to jump, you better fly, you better dive in there and shut it back. And good luck if you gotta use the bathroom at night and you gotta jump out of there and you go in there because you're right by the ocean. It's a white sand, I mean, beautiful sand. They live right because it's a fish. It's mostly fishermen that live in there. It's a fisherman's village. What it is. That's what everybody does there. So they right on the ocean. I tell you, man, I never heard that noise before. They right out there. They ready to get you. And I've been tore up, man. I mean, I woke up, man, where all my arm and either all my arm or my leg bit. He says, they put a toilet seat on for me when I came here the first time. He said, yeah, we flushed with a tabo. Yeah. We got a bucket and a tabo. Tabo, I guess that's what you call it. But but now we got a regular toilet. You flush it. You don't have to look at last night's dinner. You got to flush it. It goes down. That's going to shock you when you go there and you see that toilet. You're like, well, where's the toilet seat? is because they know how to use the bathroom over here. We don't. They squat where the butt is, here's their butthole right here. Well, let me see. Right here. Where our butthole is right here. So we're full of shit. They know how to get it out of them because they squat. And they just they put their feet around the edge and squat and use it. The very first time I saw that, man, I'm like, lady, what are you doing? Sit down on the damn toilet. What's up, Don? He said, what's up, brother Cal? I stayed in BGC 2 days. I couldn't believe I was still in the Philippines. This is what I'm talking about. Okay? The Philippines has that capability, man. They can continue to build like that. If you go into places like BGC, IT Park, and those places like that, the infrastructure is the same as it is at home. You're just gonna be in them little pockets of places. Okay, he said, yeah, Lenovo LOQ15 RTX 4050 32 gigabyte RAM, 3 TB SSD storage, 13 Gen. See, I don't know what none of that means. If y'all know what that means, it's brand new, basically. Because he just got a new one. I wouldn't know how to use that. I wouldn't use it for anything. Booby would be pecking on that damn thing. He said, how much, Cos? He said, oh, man, we'll be in Guimarães for Valentine's Day. But I'm going to tell you something. Guimarães is only, Iloilo, that's one of the shortest flights in the Philippines. From Iloilo to Cebu. I've done it. It's 23 minutes. And that's from gate to gate. You only up there for maybe 14, 15 minutes. He said negotiable. It's listed at 50,000 on the Facebook. But yeah, guys, I'm going to get off here. I got to go to the pharmacy. I want to thank Matt again, man, for giving us that fabulous interview. That's a hell of a story, man. It really is. Stay tuned for the meet and greet. Any day I'm going to have the particulars, the day and the time. It's going to be nice. I haven't had one in a few months, so it's probably going to be crowded. If you want to get your 8,000 mile club patch, email me. Y'all got my email, calroach1@gmail.com. Only 400 pesos, about $7. Less than that. He says a good deal on a new laptop is $500. Well, hell, at Walmart, you used to could get them for $199. But thank y'all so much for your super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support, Sunshine Shoulders. Check out that video with Derek Q, man. That's a good business for somebody. It's negotiable. Because I asked him, I said, well, who would buy something like that? You know, he said, somebody like me who's not all the way retired. But, you know, with 20 million pesos, man, you wouldn't even have to work in the Philippines. But remember, investors have a different mindset. And 53 Shades Dark was right about that. They got a different mindset. They're thinking totally different than from somebody like me. I'm just a regular Joe. I'd be like, well, hell, I take that 20 million. I just live off of it for the rest of my life. But some people's like, no, I want 40 million. I take that 20 million and flip that motorcycle scooter rental business because he's already built it up. I don't have any skins in the game. He's not going to give me anything if he sells that. But I didn't come over here to work like that. He said, yeah, forget those hard wooden beds. Yeah, all of that is part of the province experience, man. But they won't listen. I don't want to be around foreigners. If I'm going to be in the city, I might as well stay at home. No, it's different. You can have your place in one of those bubble cities and branch out and go to the province and all those places. There's levels to the Philippines, man. Okay, some of this stuff over here you can't handle. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, he said no pig pens outside in the backyard. None of that. He said when it comes to mosquitoes, you don't have off spray. Will off spray work? Not there, it won't. Okay, in other places, yeah, but when you right there by the ocean, where those mosquitoes, I'm talking about, you wouldn't believe it. How many mosquitoes it is? When you can see swarms of mosquitoes, it's too many. That's what's there. And it's so dark because remember, you right by the ocean, there are no street lights. At a certain time, you got to batten down the hatches, Raymond. But that's part of you want to live in a province, okay? All provinces aren't the same. Some of these places over here, coming from the West, man, you can't handle it. You can't handle it. We were talking about it yesterday. We come over here thinking, oh, we're going to run over these women. They're a piece of cake. Man, they play with us like toys over here. They're tough as nails over here. We couldn't put up with what they put up with on a regular basis. I'm just being honest with you. What they deal with on a daily basis, just their activities of daily living, man, you couldn't deal with. Imagine sitting all day on that little bitty stool, washing clothes. Then you got to hang them up. You got to do all kinds of stuff. You walking everywhere you go, for the most part. Taking care of the kids, cooking on that open fire with the wood or the charcoal. It takes forever just to get the fire started. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm talking. You know I'm telling the truth when you see that for the first time. But then when you Google it, you be like, okay, yeah, they're doing it right. He said, my ass always hurt without a toilet seat. Yeah. Well, you don't want to look, Leroy. You don't want to sit on that thing without. You don't want to sit on that. Okay. You want to try to find. You just hold the edges like that and let it drop out of your butt if you're not gonna squat. But you certainly don't want to sit on that. Just hold the sides of it and kind of, bend down or whatever you're going to do. You don't want your butthole or your behind or your back of your thighs touching that toilet. That bowl is what it's called. You don't want that, man. You don't want to do that. You're going to be like them women in Thailand. You're going to have ring around the butt. Well, okay, guys, take care. I'll see y'all next time. What is in there?